Mike, we're talking Battlefield 1. Now, we've seen the trailer, new trailer. We've had a live stream today, but you, my friend, got to actually play Battlefield 1.
I got to play it. We won. We won handily.
What did you actually play? Conquest?
We played Conquest mode, which is kind of your traditional, you're taking points across this pretty big map. This one was called Saint Quentin's Scar in northern France. There's 1 point's like in this old dilapidated church, 1 point's in this kind of little hamlet up to the northwest, 1 point's up near this windmill where this sniper was kind of covering it the whole time. It feels very much like older Battlefields, like 1942, Battlefield 2, kind of, these huge maps, these kind of like battles that unfold differently. They're not just going to be these harrowing firefights the entire time, although it is, like, you go into these farmhouses, it's close quarters, but then you come outside and you're worried about a sniper across the map. You get an anti-tank cannon, just demolish the windmill he's in. You just destroy the cover. Artillery rains down, you crawl into a crater that it created to like, wait it out while your medic can get to you. There's all these like emergent situations that happen that don't really happen in a Call of Duty anymore.
Yeah, they're hinting at this game being very similar to Bad Company 2, right? With destructible environments.
Yeah.
And earlier you were telling me, yeah, like a artillery shell came down and created craters that you like then got in and used as cover.
Yeah. So you hear the whistle of the artillery shells, and then like I thought I was dead. 2 of my teammates died, but all of a sudden, I'm like my screen's flashing red because my health is really low. I call for a medic, and I crawl into one of the craters that it just created on the other side of this brick wall that it also destroyed. Yeah. So I'm waiting, and I can hear the sound design is fantastic. Yeah, you can hear the bullets hitting this like the bricks next to me, and then also just whizzing over my head. I can hear this tank shell trying to zero in on me. The whole time I was just like, kind of like, what do I need to do in this moment that can help my team? And at that point, it was just survive because I was in a capture point.
Yeah.
So me just sitting in that crater, whether I was actually shooting back at the enemy or not, didn't matter. I just needed to hold it down for other people to get there in a tank, hopefully, or an armored truck, or maybe even a strafing run from a plane overhead.
Yeah. Speaking of vehicles, did you get hands-on with any of them?
Yeah. So. There are a couple points on the map that if you own, you can spawn right into a vehicle. There'll be like a propeller on the mini-map or a tank. So I'd spawn into an armored truck with someone, and every vehicle has designated roles, right? If you're driving the vehicle, you're not going to be firing the cannon. If you're in the side with a turret, you're not going to be firing the cannon. I got into one of the heavier tanks, and I was kind of, I was doing the forward-mounted machine gun. And then when you reload it, it takes a while to reload, so then you're kind of defenseless for a little bit. But then there's a guy with a cannon who's reloading each individual shell. It's kind of like, you can also spawn into armored trucks when they're on the map. So I see my team trying to take point F, for example. I can't spawn there, obviously, because it's not our point, but I see this armored truck coming down along the path. I spawn at that, I'm inside it, and I'm with my team going right for it.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm so surprised. I really didn't think the Zeppelin was going to be controllable, but explain to me, you mentioned like earlier to me about the Zeppelin essentially having a role not just as a vehicle, but like as a phase in a given match.
Yeah, at first I was kind of worried. It's almost like the rubber banding, right? When the one team is losing, they'll get the airship about halfway through. I asked Alex, producer on the game, Alex Grondel, when the airship will actually come into play, and he said they haven't gotten the timing completely down. Sometimes they'll be halfway, sometimes it'll be just like, this team's getting smoked, they need some sort of help. But it is completely pilotable. I mean, you have the captain steering it. It's pretty slow, but then you have like, I'm assuming, I didn't pilot it, but I'm assuming he's the one that's releasing these floods of bombs. Then you have a turret cage in the back, a turret cage in the front, a bunch along the side. So one of my teammates was coming in on a biplane, like strafe, and there was pretty slow aerial combat from what I saw. I wasn't able to spawn into a plane, but he was doing strafing runs along the side of the blimp, the airship as they're calling it, and it took about 4 seconds. These things are huge, and the planes are like slow enough to actually have this methodical combat. You start, probably the coolest part is a bunch of my teammates were in a town, like one of the last points that we didn't have at the time.
Yeah.
3 of us were in flat cannons hitting the blimp. Other 2 were doing strafing runs along the side of it. Tail gunner was just hosing them. We destroyed it, and this thing rained down and just flattened the town. The people who were inside it, like it was still, the framework of these shacks still existed, but they were just utterly destroyed by this thing. I mean, it like erupts into flames and then just falls slowly. So it's cool because you have time to get out of there.
Yeah.
If it's only like 5 seconds, so like a few of my teammates were like in trucks, like, oh my God, peeled out back down the road. The battlefield itself and the way the ground deformed and the way the destruction kind of fed into where you were going, what path you were going to take, what vehicle you think would do best for the job. It just felt like so much like you're constantly thinking, but it's such a like methodical pace that it's so enticing. We're just running to a choke point, having a sniper firing at you, even if you can't see him, was just like exhilarating.
Damn. Moving on to weather.
Yeah.
Now this version, I don't think you had any of the dynamic weather they talked about implemented.
Right. I don't know what the specific algorithm is and when it decides to do it, but sometimes, from what I hear, sometimes the weather will affect it. Sometimes the weather, like fog will roll in, sometimes it won't. Sometimes you'll play a match, it'll be clear skies the whole time.
Oh, interesting.
It's random, like
Okay.
the weather is.
Yeah.
But like I asked, they didn't confirm. I was like, so I'm assuming there'll be like sandstorms, right, in the desert ones. He's like, maybe, but like it's kind of a non-confirmation thing. But yeah, fog will roll in, and that essentially just makes the entire map close quarters. You can only see like 10 feet in front of you. Snipers aren't gonna be able to do anything. Planes, you're gonna have to be pretty careful about not running into one of your teammates.
Right, or you're just simply avoiding attacking the ground, and you're just
Yeah.
flying and just getting into a dogfight.
At the same time, though, the fog could help out planes. If you have like 4 planes coming over to the enemy's base, the flat cannons can't see you, so you're pretty much getting behind their lines. It's the weather itself. It just feels like, you know, like you assume there's going to be like maybe blizzard maps, because there's going to be some like cold weather maps from what they're telling us. But you assume like, you know, like these things are going to just completely change up, like between the destruction, the weather, how many different vehicles there are. You're getting promoted during the match, so you can take on a tank officer or a pilot role to give you further buffs in these vehicles. Just the differences among each map and how they'll unfold just seem like this game has a lot of longevity. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited to play more of it.
That's awesome. You got to ask more about this. There's a new game mode called Operations. Could
Yeah.
you kind of lightly touch on what that is exactly?
Sure, so the operations themselves, like the titular things, you'll be attacking team, defending team. And it'll be like kind of like a regular match that you're playing at first. But except the attacking team has all these like minor, almost like side missions to be doing to push the defensive team back.
Okay.
And while I asked him, they haven't confirmed what those will be. I asked if it would be like, okay, will you be like escorting this vehicle or like moving this package to another area or defending this explosive? And he said like, yeah, and from what it sounds like, there's gonna be a lot of different kind of side quests like that factoring into it. The offensive team, if they succeed in getting past the defensive team and pushing them back, that game will end, and then you can get out if you want, you can quit. But if you stay in, it'll continue on a different map. So it'll just keep building on itself. And
wow.
It'll keep going until the defensive team makes the stand. The thing that interests me in this is that the matches will be different time to time because you're having these different side missions unfold, these different operations. So it won't always be like, take this objective, hold it for a while until you can clear out the enemy team. Sometimes it'll be like, you know, theoretically, sometimes it'll be like, I don't know, destroy this armada of tanks or something, or like demolish this building so we can get a better sightline or something like that.
Damn.
And just like these cool little things that like actually might tactically help you in the battle, feeding into like the story of each match, because that's like what I love about Battlefield. You come away from these matches with crazy stories. I was telling you about how I flattened that windmill and then the sniper killed one of my buddies. So, you know, the truck comes roaring around the side, gives you cover while you can run to a machine gun and just hose it. Like that's what I love about Battlefield, and I'm hoping Operations can kind of deliver that feel that the Conquest mode seems to be harkening back to as well.
Awesome. A lot of stuff going on. Man, it's super exciting for Battlefield and Battlefield fans. Well, thanks, Mike. And for all of you watching, stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel and get more Battlefield 1 content. One more. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.